Hello again from WBCS Neo. Right, so ignore the squeaky chair. I hate this chair. I hate this chair. I hate this chair. So here's my nice mixed up cube. What we are going to try to do here is for you. It was going to take you through a couple of different ways of doing things. This is going to be how to solve the first part of the cube, i.e. this bit, either a cross or a full side, depending on what you get. If you get lucky, I've got a little piece already in place. Way, lucky me. And this is the result you want, basically. Okay, I'll put the red in the front for the colorblind people. Oh, actually, that's interesting. Oh yeah, of course I was the other way around. So this is the cross that I was on about in the introduction. This is for people who are doing CFOP. This represents the C. That's what the C stands for in CFOP. CFOP is spelled obviously CFOP, C being cross. The next part will be F2L, which is first two layers. So CFOP people wouldn't necessarily have this bit in, okay, because you want to be able to drop this into here, this into here, this into here, etc., etc. Okay, so that's a more advanced technique which we'll go through eventually. Ooh, this one's a bit oily because it's never been really used. The one me charity cube, so it's been in the box. There it is. There's the box. So it's still, you can still feel the oil in it. I just lubed them up the other day and put them away, so they've still got oil on them. So anyway, so yes, we're going to end up with this in a minute. So we're going to take you through different moves and show you how you can simplify certain things as well. So we'll move over to this one. This is what we want to end up with. So I'm going to put a little red at the front, white at the top, like that. When you're beginning, it's obviously a lot easier to keep the white up. We know this is the down one, okay? This is what's supposed to be down on the bottom, okay? However, when you're learning, it's nice to see what the cube is doing as you move certain things. But I will turn it over and show you different solves with the cube upside down so you can have an idea. I'll show you a couple of really cool moves. I'll show you what's commonly known as the daisy technique, which represents, well, you'll see when I make the daisy. Okay, in fact I might show you that one first because that is a good one for beginners, just to get the head around how to position edges and insert them. Okay, so what we're looking for, obviously we've got white here. Okay, we have got this is called a bad edge because it's the wrong way around. Okay, we do need to rotate that to fix it, but I'll show you how to do that. Okay, but at the minute all we're looking for all the white edges. So we know blue, sorry, where's blue and white gone? Blue and white's here. We've got a white and green edge here. It's got white, it's got green, and it's an edge piece. These are corners. This is an edge piece, okay? And we've got orange and white here, and we've got red and white on the back. Boop. Okay. So these two are in good positions, okay? They are orientated the right way, and they are on top of what's going to be the daisy, okay? You'll see in a minute why this is called the daisy technique. So what you want to try to do is, without hopefully disrupting these two, which you shouldn't do too badly, is we'll get white and green up first, okay? So white and green is here, and we want it up in one of these two spots here. It doesn't matter which one, because we'll show you why in a minute, okay? Sometimes it's easier if it's in the right place, but it doesn't have to be, okay? So what we will do is, this was a very easy move. What we want to do is we want to move this into this area, okay? So this needs to go to here to go to here, okay? If we take this straight up with an R2, it's in the top but bad, okay? Wrong way around. It needs to be white on top. It's a bad edge. Again, you can YouTube what is a bad edge in Cuban, and you will get a load of terminology, and it's really good information, but at this stage not too critical. So what you need to do is you need to do a half turn, which allows you to correct the orientation. Okay, so at the moment it's ironic, it's still a bad edge there. Okay, if you do an R move, it then becomes in position to become a good edge. Okay, so from here, so we did an R, and then we want to do an F prime, and that puts that in the right place, and it's corrected the edge. Okay, so that's 3 petals of the daisy, which you'll see in a minute once we've completed. So I want that nice red. Was it the red one I'm looking for? No, the red's in place. It's the blue and white. So again, blue and white. this is really clever. Okay, blue and white is basically going to do the same thing again. And I know you're worried about this, but when you turn this round, that moves that out the way, so it keeps it safe. Okay, so we'll do the same move again for this one because it's a bad edge. So we do an R, F prime. And then we do R prime again to bring that one back. Because we kept it safe out the way, we need to bring it back, so we're doing R prime after that. Okay, so let's do that again. So we've got R, F prime, R prime. And that's give us the 4 correctly orientated edges around the yellow. Okay, the 4 white around the yellow. If I was to cover that, if you had loads of those petals, it would look like a daisy. And that's why it's called the daisy technique. Okay, the reason why some people say it's a bad technique to learn because yes, it's more moves to get these in a position to drop them in, but as a learner it gets you the idea, it teaches you these F and R's and stuff like that, because your primary moves are going to be F, R, U and F and stuff. They're going to be your primary moves for doing algorithms anyway, unless you do left-handed like I do left-handed mirror algorithms, then you're going to do primarily sort of all right-handed. Okay, so we've got the daisy. So now what you're doing is you're looking for these edges here. There's loads of tutorials on daisy. Okay, I'm trying to simplify it a little bit if we can. So you're looking for all these. The thing with this is it's a great technique to get your cross on the bottom very, very quickly. Okay, it takes time to get it up here, time that speed cuers wouldn't normally use. They would have the bottom on the bottom and work out their permutation, as it were, to drop all 4 of these in as fast as they can at the bottom, so they don't have to do this bit. Okay, that's why speed cubers generally won't do this unless most of it's done. If you've got, say, if you've got 3 and you know it's going to be an R2 to get this one. Say if you had a partial daisy on the scramble, you see your green white there, you're not going to move this one because it's already in place, so you're going to carry on the daisy, because you could do the daisy first, but that one's already in place to do, so there's no point in moving that one. Okay, that one's in place, don't move it, work around it. Okay, so we'll go back to daisy anyway. So that's what you're looking for. You're looking for, as you rotate this top round, you're looking for a match. So we'll go for green first, get it out of the way for the colourblind people. Okay, so that is now lined up. We've got a white, so all you want to do is, you've got that in face here, do an F2, or you can turn it sideways and do an R2. Okay, F2 is a harder move to do, R2 is a lot easier to do that. Okay, so I would generally tell you to do an R2 on that. So it's just because when you're looking you cannot see it at that point, so you're like, oh, is it right? So you do an R2, okay, or an F2. See why it's easier to do an R2. Okay, so we'll do R2 anyway because I like R2. R2D2. Okay, so if we look underneath, hey presto, first piece is in. Okay, back over, looking for, so what you do is you just rotate this top. Oh look, another one is in place, your red and white is ready to drop, so you just basically do a 2 rotation on whichever side this is on. Okay, so you're on F, F2. Okay, and look on the bottom, you've got those 2 in. We have been very fortunate here. If you get lucky, you go, bloody hell, I've got a whole, this was just accidental. That was purely accidental. That fell into place at the same time. Okay, this is another technique. This is I think this is ZZ block building. I think it is technique. So there's so many different ways of doing the cube, but that was absolute pure luck. Okay, so we'll go back over again. We'll go to another one we haven't got in here, because this is what you're looking for. You're looking for the gaps that aren't filled yet. You've got this one. You've got this one. So we'll go to blue. Oh, it happens to be in the right place. Rotate it around, F2. Got it in. Bonus bit is this bit. And I'll explain on the next one. I'm going to show you the reason why there's different techniques or different moves to do, to execute, which I'm going to do on this one now to show you, to give you a heads up. So we'll go back over, go to orange. We've got nothing right here, so we want this orange in here, so we rotate. Oof, look at this. There it is. Height. Okay, so this position, I already got a good edge. In fact, I've got an F2L drop in it, corner drop as well. So there's a few options I can do here, but we'll get back to that in a minute. So you would do your normal F2, which is fine. You've got your daisy. Okay, congratulations. If we cover that up, hey, we've got a daisy. Okay, first part solved. Okay, the other thing I'll mention while we're back up there, so if we're finishing that move, I spotted this. Now, as I went like that to complete my daisy, let's put this on the wrong side. Okay, good edge, wrong side. So there's a couple of ways of doing this. Okay, some people would either do an R prime and F2 and then an R, which basically takes that out of the way, rotates this down to where you do it and puts it back in. Okay, oops, do it the right way. Okay, the other option is to do an M prime, I was thinking about that, a U2 and an M, which does the same thing. Okay, I'm very efficient on doing my M's, so I can do them quite well. Okay, so I can take one out and put one in really quick. It's not as quick as that, or it's about the same speed to be fair for me. So yeah, you've got a couple of options. This is why you have to play around with the cube and try to see how things work. The other thing you can do, if I wanted to, I could do this. That gives me that corner. I did the F2L pair there, and now I can do the same again as I did before with the R prime F2 R, and that gives me that. Okay, so it just depends what you want to do, or you can do that. It's 6 and 2 3s, but I've got my F2L pair in there. Okay, so you've got your daisy, so that's brilliant. Well done if you've got that far. Okay, remaining parts, if you're going to do layer by layer, we would normally, in standard Rubik's, we would do, say I'd showed you a bit F2L there, which I shouldn't have done really, that's advanced stuff, I should be doing that later on, but hey ho. Okay, but that shows you the tricks you can do, so you can drop two in at the same time rather than just one, because that means you've got to do, like this one is going to go in here in a minute, but I could sort of pair that one up with that one, then drop it in there if I wanted to, but I don't need to, because there's so many ways of doing this, and I'll show you the various techniques to sort of cheat a little bit. I've got this one to go in here. If I wanted to, I could bring this one up, okay, by putting this one in here. This is the joy of cubing, is you can do so many things at the same time, and that's the thing. Okay, the other thing I could do, I could bring this one up, right? I could drop that one in, but it's going to mess this two. These two are ready to drop in as an F2L pair for me, so I wouldn't do that. I would probably flick that round twice and just let that sit on top while I deal with this. In fact, I don't even have to do that, because I can do that and drop that one in. So I've done those two and I've dropped this corner in. So I've done an F2L pair and a corner drop. Now I've got the orange and green here, because this is orange, green and yellow, so I know this has got to be orange and green because everything else is complete. Okay, I don't know why I'm doing the second layer, I'm not even onto that, but hey ho, it's habit. So I can bring that round, and there you go. Okay, so we've got a side, we've got two sides, and then I'll carry on with OL. I would probably do me corners for this one, because I don't know the OL for this, so I would do corners and then finish off. Okay, so we'll do that again. We'll just mix up the cube and hope we get it better scrambled, because that was a really good one. I probably got a good time on that one. I dare say I would probably got a sub 25 as I carried on with that one. I can't believe that matched up so well. That's actually the first time I've ever done a double drop in on purpose. So it's actually showing you that as you progress in cubing, you do learn stuff. Again, it's one of these scrambles where I'm thinking, God, I've got pairs all over the place. When I keep on talking about pairs, is the main part of solving a cube is looking for, like, you've got a pair here, you've got a red, blue and white, so they need to go here, so they just need to go in there and down there, and they're in. Okay, there's nothing saying you have to do a cross first, there's nothing saying you have to do the first side first. Okay, you can do the edges first, and then fill all this bit in, then do this bit. However you do it, the top must be done pretty much last, unless you do a swap over where if you think you can solve this off the belt, then solve it straight away, then flip it over and finish off the white. So you might start on white and finish off on white. It just depends. Some people do that, okay? But as a rule, we are going to go with cross again. So again, we will do a daisy method just to show you. So we've got a nice, well, we're not going to do a daisy on this one, okay? Why? Because it's halfway between in place and out of place. I'm not going to do like an R and put it in daisy when I could do an R prime and put it in here, okay, which is in place. However, again, there's other things you got to look at when it's back in that position. Always check. This is why you have an inspection on cube competitions. You always check, see what else you've got. Now, as I rotate that to put that in, that breaks this pair. Okay, so I want to deal with this one first. And again, this is in place. It's lined up, and it's correct orientation. So it's not white here and orange here. It's correct way around. So that can go down with an, if I was in this case, an R prime. Okay. Now we've got a red in the wrong place. Fine, we can deal with that later on. Okay. I've still got my green because I've dealt with the orange first. So I'll bring that round, do an R prime. Still got those two. Now, as I've rotated around, I've spotted that I had a blue lined up. So I'm not even getting to the daisy stage yet. And this is why daisy isn't liked by speed cubers, because I could have put all those up there, but why when it just adds so many more moves to sort out when it's half the cube's already done. So again, I'll do an R prime. Okay, now that has lifted and put me in a bad edge red. Okay, now there's a few see, at this stage I am thinking, oh hello, you're nice, I'm going to drop you in, and then I'll put this up here. So I'll do that. Okay, put that as a bad edge, but this is an easy fix. Okay, that's what I would do. I've got to try to figure out what I did there now. Oop, I didn't do it that way. It's gone. It's gone. We'll carry on with that. So I've fixed that corner in. Okay. Because I've got this done, I don't want to mess this up. Okay. Normally, if there was nothing here, I would just turn that like a U prime or a U, do an L, and then do an F prime and put that in, and then follow it back L prime. That's lined up quite nicely. Okay. However, why do that many moves when I can just do, well, it's the same amount of moves I think actually, isn't it? I can do this one as a move out, move this up, and then move this into the right position because it would orientate it as it rotates. So if I do U prime, M prime, U, M, same job without rotating around here and moving this. I'm not moving any of this at all, I'm just moving literally these two. So I'm moving 2 layers rather than 3. So that's the advantage of that one. And that also gave me a nice setup here for a drop in, F2L drop in here, because I can put this here when this moves to here. Okay, so we'll move around again. Got me cross, there's me cross done. Okay, didn't have to worry about it. It's fantastic. We've got green orange, so I'll do an F2L drop there. I've got an F2L drop here, and these two is just a slight rotation with an F2L drop as well. But we're going to do layer by layer, so we're going to complete the white layer. So we've got blue, white. So if I put this here, so we now have white facing, got blue in the right place. Okay, so this one is dead easy. Okay, so we've got that there. This needs to go to here. Okay, so if I rotate that there, that's where it needs to go. However, obviously we'll mess this up, so we'll put that back. So what you want to do is you want to move it into we're in the work area. The top section, wherever everything moves around, this is what I class as the work area. This is where all the magic happens, as it were. This is the factory. This is the cube factory. This is what's rebuilding the cube for you. Okay, so we would in here we would do an F prime, U prime, and then an F, and that puts that corner piece in. Okay, so that's in. We're looking for this one now. We're looking for white, green, orange, which is above, which is a bit of a tedious one. Not too much of a tedious one if you know the sexy move. You can do a sexy on that and drop that straight in with 12 moves. But sexy is a fast move, which I'll show you it. Okay, done. Okay, I'm not going to show you that because it's one of those things that you have to get used to doing that sort of move. So in this case, I would probably do as a beginner, the best way I can think of is an R, U2, R prime. I ironically got that one lined in, which I didn't want to do, but hey ho. And then I would have to do a special corner insert, F2L, for that if I was wanting to keep this intact, but we're not going to do that. We're going to get the layer complete. So, and then we'll do U prime, R, U, R prime, and that gives me the full side. Okay, yes, it screwed me over with this one, but this is an easy fix. So we'll do another one because it's great fun. But the cube generally will show you, I'll show you one more LBL solve, and then we'll show you a quick CFOP method of doing things. Okay, right, so we've got a nice solve here, well, a nice scramble actually. We've got two pieces correctly orientated but wrong rotation. Okay, because we've got green is not matching blue, blue's not matching with green. Okay, so this one, as you're here, as you pick the cube up, do U2. This is your up at top because that's what you're working at the minute. U2, flick it over. Okay, so you've got half your daisy done. We've got a red, white here, which is wrong side anyway. So I'm just going to, before I do that, I spotted the white here. So what I want to do is, I don't want to disrupt this if I can help it. Okay, it's not going to be nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do, say this is bad orientation because it's facing the wrong side. You want that to be orange. Okay, so that's a bad orientation. There is a few ways of doing this. A more advanced method would be to rotate this bottom, or down I should say, not bottom, down, don't get confused between B and D. So this would be a D prime. Okay, that takes this green out, makes it safe. An L, which puts us in the right place but just the wrong rotation, and then a D. Okay, and that lines them up, puts that one back, keeps those ones safe. So we'll look for the red now. Now this one's an interesting one because it is okay, it's not a bad thing. If you play it that way, it's in the U section. If you play it that way, it's in the U section, bad. Okay, so but it's in the right weight for an instant drop in. So what I would do here is I would do an F2, an R prime, an F2. That gives me the daisy. Everything's correct and clears the headway a little bit. Okay, that's if you want to do cross or CFOP, then that's a good way of doing it, nice and quick. I would do sort of like watermelon edges from here because I spotted an edge. I do the cube based on, as I see a piece I will do it. I've got a nice pit here. I can do an F2L pair lineup, for example. Okay, or I can do an edge piece drop here because there's nothing in here. When I do that, you know, it's give us this one here, so I can pull this one up and take it here for an F2L. So there's so many different ways to do things, but we're going to carry on with the first side. We've got nice green, white, orange. So green, white, orange. So we're looking for orange. There's green, and we're looking for white. So we want that corner piece here first to see what we need to do with it. The side with the white on it needs to face on the right. Okay, so that's on there. So this is matching. So we know this is on the right side. If this was on that side, then it's a bad side. So we do R, U, R prime. Lucky, we've got an F2L pairing as well, so we've got the bit on top. So we don't have to do this one afterwards. It's already in place. Lucky, lucky, lucky. Okay, next one. We're looking for another corner on top, which we've got. Now, I've got I could F2 pair that one. So I want this one in here. So again, put this corner piece, so all the colours that represent the corner that you want to go to. So we've got green, red and white. We kind of match the corners with the white reflecting, so it's on top. So we do R, U2, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime. Puts that corner in. And this is why people don't, this is why you learn F2L, because you could have matched those two up and done a couple extra moves and done two lots. Now I've got to wait for that one to come up and then process it afterwards. And this is why learning side first is okay, but it's not efficient. We've got blue, white, orange in place. We've got a nice white on the side. So we'll do R, U, R prime, puts it in. There's your white here, so you rotate the white round. We've got it matched up. There's your blue match, your red match and your white, and R, U, R prime. So that's it. Now you've got full side. Okay. Whew, that's good stuff. Okay. So from there, that's pretty much stage one. Okay. That's what you want to learn. That's your beginning of anything. Getting one side is an achievement. Don't be discouraged thinking, God, it took us all that time just to get one side. Yeah, you've got another 5 to go. But yeah, you've done 1/6 of the cube. The thing is, what you've got to know straight away is the bit that takes the longest to solve, ironically, once you learn algorithms, is this bit. This is the hardest part of the cube. The rest of it's actually easy once you memorize stuff. It's all about memory from here. This bit is not memory, it's just a case of looking and putting stuff in and learning certain techniques that works better. So you've got, like, for instance, we've got this one here, which is a bad edge, good edge, put it in. Okay, and that's in. Okay, that's a standard Rubik move. Simple as that. And there you go again. Same move, repeated, and it puts all the edges in. So it's quite a short thing. But F2L is a different matter altogether. I'll quickly show you F2L, and that's what you'll be looking forward to in the next part of the video. So if we mix this up, see, I've got partial daisy here, so I'm going to do a daisy because I've already got most of the stuff on. Have a look, flick around, I've got an alignment here. There's green, white. I can see me red here, so I'm going to flick that round straight in. That's me red in. I've got blue aligned, and I know orange is opposite red, and that gives me cross. Okay, and they're all in the right place. So from here, oh, look at this. Okay, so I've got this nice one, which I'm going to put in there. Oh, I've got F2L pair there. So that's 2 in. See how I'm putting 2 in at a time? I'm looking here, I've got a green, red F2L. That's matched up. That's in. And I've got an F2L pair here as well. So this was a really good, either a really bad mix or a really good solve. Okay, and then from there, it's 1 OLL to get these 3 corners. And then I've got an A perm. So you see, it is only a handful of moves if you get a lucky solve. Okay, that would have been a 20-second solve, no doubt of it. Probably maximum 20 seconds for that one. So that would have been a good solve. I wish I'd done a solve on that one, but hey, well, that's just a jumble off my hands, so it's not an official solve scramble. So, but that's, I think, it's a case of from here, repeat those sort of things. So like I say, you can do daisy any way you like. There's a daisy. You've got a daisy on either side. And you can practice that drop in technique. Okay, so daisy is just a load of 2s basically. There you go. You get some nice jazzy patterns as well. So that's just R2, L2, back 2, front 2. Okay, so you can do that pattern if you want and impress your friends with silly patterns. Okay, and that's basically what you want to start off with and drop down. It's much easier doing that when you're first beginning. I don't recommend using it if you can get away with trying to do things by looking and doing what I've showed you, where you look at a piece and drop it in by doing that. Okay, so I put this yellow green in here. It's in. Yeah. So it just depends really on your capability of learning and how fast you can learn the different techniques. Again, there's lots of YouTube videos on how to be efficient doing inserts for LBL or F2L, depending on which way you go. But highly suggest you look at F2L if you are already a cuber and you're just looking for a better way of solving. F2L is fantastic if you can get your head around it, but it does take a lot of look ahead, whereas my technique, if I just scramble this up very quickly, my technique is a case of, because I use it for charities, it's a no look ahead situation. I can put a cube down straight away. I can see an orange white here, which just needs to go in there. That's the orange white done. Red green is in there. Okay. And I can see me green white here, so I'm going to flick that one in. So that's in. And then I've got my green white red, which is done with me sexy. I've got red white bad, red white good. I've got red white blue. So as I'm going, as you can see, I haven't got across yet. Okay, I'm just doing my stuff. Okay, I'm going round. I can see my blue edge there. I've got my green edge here. Now I've spotted me white and blue, so I've completed my cross. I've got that corner in, and I've got that corner in. So I've done the same sort of things, but I've not looked ahead. I'm not looking for F2L pairs, and I've got all that done. And then from there, it's just a case of doing what I think I can do quickly to get things sorted out. In this case, let's have a look. Okay, so that shows you don't have to do the cube in any specific order. You can do it any way you like, but learning other people's methods, I would highly suggest looking at all of them before you decide which one to use. I spoke to Phil View, who has his own shop in America. Hi Phil. He informed me it's not a great idea to use multiple techniques, as it were, but for me it works. Just basically, if I can pick a cube without look ahead, I'm not inspecting and can solve it in 30 seconds. That's a pretty good achievement. Most cubers rely on 15 seconds to get a good going on the cube, or get across, or get if they're doing roux, for example. Roux is a case of you build up a 2x3 and a 2x3, and then it's all center MU move to complete it. It relies on stuff like that. So yes, look at the methods. If you're already cubing to a certain degree and probably solving, or just stuck on how to get faster than whatever barrier you're on, if you're stuck on 2 minutes like I was, and I just looked for a fresh start basically, and just thought, right, I'm going to strip back what I personally know, took away all my bad habits and learnt all the good habits basically. It's just the same, like I've said in the previous about driving a car. You've got bad habits and good habits that you can pick up by learning from your parents, for example, learning to drive, being instructors to teach you in the proper way. Parents aren't, so parents give you lots of bad things that instructors then have to iron out, as it were. Same with cubing. You can pick up a lot of bad habits by doing stuff yourself and going, oh, that was a good idea, that worked. It might not be the most efficient way of doing it, but if it works for you at the time, great. If it gets you a good time, great. But look at other people's techniques or other algorithms that like algdb.net, that has like a polling system, so people put their algorithms up there and people try algorithms and they vote on the best algorithm to use, which is great because you get to learn which is the best algorithms. Some of them are not necessarily intuitive, I should say, but once you've done it a few times, you think, actually that is a really good one, that's a really good algorithm, and I can see why people use it now. And then you forget the old algorithm. So yeah, and I've learned loads by just checking other algorithms out and watching lots of YouTube videos. Hopefully people will watch my video and learn something from it. Okay, but yeah, so the next one after this would be, obviously stage 2 will be either, depending on how you want to do it, of course, we'll take you through the different methods. Sorry, I've got a dry throat. So the next one would be either doing cross with edge inserts or full side with edge inserts. Okay, so the F2L side of things, first two layers. So it's F2L no matter how you do it. You can do LBLE, which is what I use. I use LBL edge with CFOP with F2L. So I might see a good edge that hasn't got a good F2L pair. So I'll drop the edge in while I'm looking for the next bit. So I'm still using a micro look ahead, but not as much as F2L requires. So I can see an edge. If I can see another edge that's going to drop in after that, I'll drop that edge in. If I don't see its natural pairing. If I see a pair, then obviously I'll do F2L pair because it's quicker and there's less moves. It's more efficient. I'm going to go for a more efficient way. The more efficient, the faster it is, the quicker you're going to solve. Not always necessarily the best solve, but if people are using look ahead, then you can see a solve happening or see a certain pattern that you're aiming for, and you can try to go over that. Same with when you get to OLL and PLL stage, it becomes a lot easier to point your cube in the right direction of a solve, whereas when you're just solving the cross, you haven't really got any direction of where the cube could be going at that time. So it is a very huge learning curve, and you just play and play and play, and you just get better and better and better over time. So anyway, that's it. Don't think there's much else I can really talk about. I can take you through different moves, but I've taken you through some of the basic ones. I do have a lot of those moves on my website for the basic structure to get you inserting without disrupting these parts, for example. I think if I'm right, I put things in square brackets where if you have, say for example, if we just do this. So if, for example, I have got I've got these two in place and I just need to put this bit in here. I don't want to be doing that. Oh, that's not right. I don't, you know what I mean, I don't want to do that, for example, because that's going to disrupt that. It's messed it all up. So I would take it out and insert that way. So that would keep that intact, but only put this piece in the right place for us. And that's what you need to learn. It's just figuring out how a piece will insert easily and quickly with as little movement as possible, and with the least time. That's going to get you fast times. Okay, so the next part will be F2L. That's your first two layers. Whether you do it layer by layer or actually F2L inserts, which I'll go through both of those with you. I've done a little bit today with you anyway, so you've got an idea of what it's like, but it does take a little bit of brain power to look at F2L pairing and stuff like that. LBL is F2L pairing. It just, what you're doing is you're putting your first piece in to make it easier to find the second piece. So you're not having to look for two pieces to insert. You're looking for one piece first initially, then you're looking for the next one further down the line when you're looking elsewhere, and you're only looking for two pieces instead of 4 pieces or 6 pieces, which a lot of speed cubers are looking for. Okay, so a lot of speed cubers are looking for either 2 or 4 pairs ahead. So they're trying to look for things that are going to match up when they do a certain move. They might pair up another one to drop in straight after or with it. So that's what they look for when you're doing F2L. Look ahead is looking for more than one insert at a time. So you might get these 2 in at the same time, or these 4, whereas you might only get those 2 on a certain condition. So yeah. Okay, so we'll take you through that in the next video. So I hope I haven't waffled too much again. I do like to waffle. So have fun. Don't get stressed, because getting stressed means you're going to lock up and make mistakes, and you'll end up messing the cube up more than solving it. Okay, until the next one. See you later.